In 2022, we shared a video talking about the steps we were taking to promote inclusion and accessibility at STEPS and to remove the barriers that disabled clients, colleagues and participants of our sessions might face when engaging with us. After auditing where our strengths, risks and opportunities were for improvement, in February 2023 the Access Planning Group took a proposal to STEPS Global Board with 20 objectives to remove perceived barriers. Aligned to these objectives, here are some of the key things we've learned and prioritised along the way.
So part of putting a disability lens across the business has involved us reviewing some of our key tools and processes to make sure that we're inclusive by design. So at the end of 2023, we partnered with Diversity and Ability, a disabled-led social enterprise, who undertook an accessibility review of our communications. And that was right the way through from our proposals all the way through to our e-learning modules. Now that review looked at things like the structure, the language that we use, the images and the videos that we include, as well as things like the font that we use for our communications. The purpose of the review was not only to help us to write scenarios that include a more diverse group of people, but also to ensure that the materials that we produce as part of all of our programs are accessible to a wide audience, including our clients and our associates, as well as the participants that we engage with.
This also extends to our digital resource within our e-learning. Looking at accessibility within our media offering was one of the first areas where we started to consider what action we should be taking to ensure that all of our programs were inclusive by design. We began with an audit of our platform of choice, Articulate Rise, which produces a report on what functionality is conformant with accessibility standards. From this, we created an accessibility guide, which anybody who is designing for Rise needs to implement any of these standards to ensure that the work is accessible. Good technical practice for us is ensuring that all of our videos are subtitled, images have alt text, colour contrast is compliant with WCAG guidelines, and that our programs are keyboard navigable. Most importantly for us though is ensuring that accessibility is at the forefront of people's minds when designing, so that it's a thought throughout the entire process and not just a consideration towards the end.
So how are we all responsible and accountable for creating an inclusive culture, and how practically will we turn these commitments into reality? So the Access Planning Group has now been running for 1.5 years, and we recognize it's our responsibility as an organization to actively include disabled people in our EDI strategy and organizational culture, and we needed the board's support to embed this. So we created a disability statement that's public on our website, and it's about our individual and group responsibility. So webinar and workshops for all our global teams to learn about inclusive communications, the continued communication with the board, sharing at company meetings, and most importantly, our disability inclusion strategy now forms part of our Global People business plan.
From the beginning, we had some nervousness around the journey of working on our accessibility, recognizing that the company wasn't representative, and we may not have much lived experience of disability within the organization and the Access Planning Group. As well as building our own disability awareness through internal training, a specific objective in our board proposal was to grow our network of associates to include more people who identify as disabled or neurodiverse. We have met lots of new associates, building a network of people who bring in a variety of knowledge and lived experiences.
8 months ago, we put together the STEPS DEI Council, and the council has representation from our clients, from our associates cohort, learning partners, and even some members from the staff at STEPS. The DEI Council is really trying to bring together people with different lived experiences, people from marginalized groups, and those with intersectional experiences, including people from the disabled community. The other thing that we are focusing on is working closely with the Access Planning Group to ensure that our comms and our structures and policies are accessible and inclusive across the globe and not just specific to any regions. It is really about bringing all regions together under this one common purpose.
Our casts represent the clients we serve. We have the chance to model what a truly inclusive organisation and diverse workforce can look like in our scenarios and in the way that we work. To cast authentically is really important to us, our associates and our clients. In order to help us to continue to achieve this, another area where we partnered with Diversity and Ability was asking them to support us in creating a survey for us to better understand our associates and internal team, in particular those with lived experience of disability and neurodiversity, and how we can draw upon that knowledge to further create opportunities for programme designers and facilitators.
We're working on a culture of psychological safety so that our people and associates feel able to self-identify in ways that feel safe, fair and practical. And we're also helping to challenge and influence our clients in any ways we can to help share best practice and hold that mirror up to what an inclusive organisation can look like.
We knew there was more we could do to embed disability awareness and accessibility into our culture, and whilst we've made solid progress against the goals we set, it continues to be an ongoing focus for us. Best practice continues to evolve, and we want to keep pace with the changes needed to make our approach anticipatory rather than reactive, and to grow our knowledge, confidence and understanding of disability and invisible differences in the workplace. Through this commitment, we can continue to engage, attract and develop the talented people that help make the STEPS team unique, as well as better reflect and respond to the diversity and lived experience of our clients and participants.